Good evening, Coinmunity, and welcome to yet another episode of Coinmunity Wednesdays. For tonight, we will be having an introduction to Rivalz, which is an AI project on the Dimension and Arbitrum network. We'll also be having a talk with some of our local key opinion leaders on enabling AI and crypto for Web3 users. Don't forget to drop your questions for our panelists on the comment section of our FB Live and drop a GM. I'd love to hear from all of our community members, and thank you so much for joining us for tonight. I just want to do a little tech check. I hope everyone can hear me. Okay, yeah. May I just get a quick audio check from our panelists also? No sound. Oh no. Hold on. Let me just recheck my settings here. Testing my mic. All right. Okay, so Feo can hear me. I think she might be having problems. Um, Hold on. All right, I think some of our community members can hear us, but we're having some problems with the audio. But yeah, let me just try to refresh maybe over on my end. And let me try this real quick. Hold on. Let me just check the audio settings real quick, guys. All right. So, Army, quick check lang. Yeah, okay ba yung audio ko? Okay, sige. So I think Faye can hear. All good, all good. All right. All right. So the topic again for tonight is we're going to be discussing a bit more about AI and crypto apps for Web3 users. So for tonight, we are supposed to be joined by Matthias from the Rivalz team. He is the Chief Business Development Officer of Rivalz, and I hope that he can make it for tonight's stream. I hope he's doing okay. But in any news, I guess we can proceed with our AMA since we have here on our panel Feo Roque, Chivirai, and Army Obingwar. I'm super excited to be hearing from all of them. This is a fresh set of speakers that are going to be joining us. So I'd love for them to also introduce themselves and what they're building for the space to our community members. So I think I can bring up first on stage. Siguro, let's bring up Teo. Teo, how are you doing on this fine Wednesday evening? GM, sir, kumusta kayo dyan?
Hello, GM. Can you hear me? Audio good?
Yep, loud and clear. Yep.
Yeah. Uh, should we speak in English pa since Matthias is not here?
Teo, okay
Okay.
lang.
It's okay na. Okay. Cool. Hello everyone. I'm Theo. So I'm a Web3 developer, also a Web2 developer. So I've been a software engineer for 10 years now. I was a former engineering manager at Accenture. But right now I actually have a lot of commitments in Web3. Um, So I'm leading the builder community in Orwell, Philippines. On the tech side, I'm a senior engineer at HawkFi, so it's a DeFi project in Solana. I'm also the CTO at a venture studio. We're building an ad tech project there. Also, I have my own startup, which is the Howdy Studios, wherein we're building Jobsy as well. It's an AI Web3 project for hiring, basically. Um, yeah, hopefully you can learn a lot from this AI. Yeah, looking forward to talk with our co-speakers as well. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Freya. Yeah, I guess feel free also during our Q&A to also share some stories about your experience then, as a builder in the space. Because I think when we're talking about apps also, I think, there are a lot of things na you can also talk about being the main, creator of these applications. So Theo, thank you so much. And I guess for our second panelist for the night, I'd like to bring up Chi on stage. She's been around the Coinmunity. Chi, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us once again for Coinmunity Wednesdays. How are you doing?
Hey, hi guys. I'm Chi. I'm introduction, right? I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Yes.
doing good. Yeah. So some call me a crypto OG since I started here in 2013. I'm also the founder of Cryptocurrency Philippines and OG 100X Ventures. It's a high performance a community for traders, builders, and investors. So what we do is we actually back emerging tech. So early stage projects, that's where we come in, and we do it as a community and not as individual investors. We also focus on human performance in Web3. So if you're looking into creating wealth and network and a good life using Web3 technologies, that's what we do in OG100X. So I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for having me. And I'm looking forward to diving into how AI, Web3, and high performance could actually intersect here in our talk today. Thank you.
Awesome. I love to hear that. That's very holistic, and I think is the word to use. Because you have high performance, not just like in crypto and performance, but also with the physical side of things, like health is also really important. And I think
Mental
if
health.
you're in the yes,
Mhm.
mental health also very important. And when you have, a combination of all of that, you really achieve like high performance, no? So yeah. So thank you so much for the introduction, Chi. I think what you can also just share with me in the chat the links for people if they can find out some more about OG100. And then yeah, I'll share that also in our uh, Facebook Live comment section for people to click and check out. So, Chi, thank you
Sure.
so much for
Thank you.
joining us this evening. And I'd also like to introduce to our panel Army. So, Army, good evening. Nice to have you on Community Wednesdays again. So, kumusta ka
Hi,
on this fine Wednesday evening?
nice. Thank you so much for inviting me again. This is gonna be my second time. And yeah, great to see Chi and Teo as well for this Wednesday as well.
Yes, so maybe Army, you can talk a little bit about TARS, right? So TARS AI. So maybe you can share a little bit also about TARS with the community and what you do for the protocol.
Yeah, sure, sure. So we actually focus on Solana. So we're building frameworks on top of what we call Sona. So it's an on-chain trading framework that we built for some of the DeFi protocols, and then we're soon actually releasing some of the LLMs that we're building um, focusing actually more on decentralized. So which means that aside from the OpenAI that we know for proprietary and open source, we're also building one that's very focused on blockchain. So that's what we're working on. We're building a lot of stuff right now with our developer team as well. And I am here also as part of the developer relations. So I help creating tutorials, community engagements, education, and all those stuff that relates to builders and all. So yeah.
Awesome, Army. Thank you so much. And so Matthias isn't here yet, or one of the team members. We also just let them know that if any of their team members can join us for the evening to give a brief introduction to Rivals, yeah, we'll host them in. And maybe we can also just slot in that Q&A portion for them to teach the basics of Rivals to the community. But either way, I'm super excited to have Army, Feo, and Chi to really talk about AI and crypto, that intersection, and also how they see this tech really developing for a lot of our Filipinos. No? So AI has been a hot topic the past year, and we'll probably continue to see, that narrative play out with emerging tech. So with that, I guess we can go on with that portion of our Q&A. And so I guess we can have the order. So in the order I brought you guys up on stage, so maybe Feo can go first, and then Chi, and then Army. So my first question for all of you is this. So AI and blockchain are two of the hottest trend in the wider tech sector right now. So kayong tatlo, how do you see them, coming together for users and the applications na gagamitin nila? So Fea, take a stab siguro on what you think, is going to be that intersection for AI and blockchain also.
Uh, yeah. There's actually a ton of use cases for AI and blockchain together. Um, But how I see it kasi, I see them together, like blockchain is the technology that will allow for, ako kasi, I'm super passionate and sobrang ko-promote ako ng fully on-chain apps, like fully autonomous AI agents even. So I think blockchain is the technology that will actually allow that, like have fully autonomous AI agents that actually live forever, runs forever, where the compute used for AI and the data sources will become verifiable as well. Kasi I don't think right now uh, we have all of those in full transparency. Um, and it also helps us with ano with determining um, uh, the proof of personhood, like for apps that we're using now. Kasi it's becoming harder and harder. Uh, if you're interacting, if your users are actually AI agents or they're actual users. Um, so I think that will help as well with determining if you actually have users. Um, Now, what good will it bring to users? Um, it's basically automating our everyday lives, I think. Uh, Especially now with MCPs or model context protocols. You can now port your AI agents with different data sources and toolings. Um, so it allows for AI agents uh, to interact with actually literally anything in the internet as long as they have um, a use case for that. So, for example, recently in X, I saw this post na he hooked up his AI agent with Blender MCP. So he's actually able to like create a 3D model of something. I don't know if it's a game or because I just saw it on X. He's not a 3D artist, but he managed to do it because of an AI agent and the Blender MCP. And that goes as well with different technologies and different platforms. And like X, for example, if you want to have like a social media manager na AI agent, you can hook it to a Twitter MCP. So yeah, it's only a matter of time when all we do, not just actually in Web3, is 50-60% automated. Um, but yeah, again, unless how I say it is unless we have a decentralized infrastructure to host these AI agents for them to live forever and run forever, we'll always have a problem with compute, with single point of failure. That will always be a problem for the user and also the projects that have this AI agent capabilities. Uh, yeah,
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, proof of personhood. I think you mentioned really interesting concept, and to have an agent also with Blender to create assets, I think will really push that envelope siguro of like creating things no that are
yeah,
visual through AI. So yeah, I'd really be interested. I'll probably look that up also since I also I'm into like my gaming and content also. So it's gonna be cool to see how those two things intersect. So Feo, thank you so much. Chi, how about you? So what are some of the things that you're seeing in the space, and then yeah, feel free to share some of the cool things you're seeing with AI and user apps in crypto.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. I'm actually seeing a lot, especially in the AI space. There are projects that are saying we're an AI agent or we have an AI agent, but they're just saying that. And there are projects that are legit, have use cases that are very useful, not just now but also in the future. So from in my perspective and from my experience and from what I'm seeing right now, AI and blockchain are converging in ways that fundamentally change how we interact with data, automation, and ownership. But basically, the key thing that we need to understand, and we don't need to go all technical in this, is that AI is not here to replace humans, as people think that AI agents would get or take our jobs. It's actually here to amplify us. And I always preach this, to be honest with you, because for me, how I see it is AI is the helper, the booster of humans, and it allows all of us to do more uniquely human things, if that makes sense, like creative things, art, music, stuff like that, that AI may be able to do but not as uniquely as humans. And as mentioned earlier, I advocate for high performance execution in Web3. And it isn't about doing more, it's about doing the right things faster and smarter. And that's where AI agents come in by number one, optimizing decision making. And number two is automating the repetitive, mundane things and elevating strategies that humans can do, right? And then personalized performance systems. For example, I've created an AI agent on N8N, and it can create calendar invites for me, optimize my calendar, give me tasks and stuff like that, all personalized into my own preferences and my own circumstances. And then, of course, there's security and transparency, where AI enhances threat detection and risk assessment in DeFi and smart contracts, but then the blockchain itself ensures that these models remain auditable, tamper proof, and decentralized. So there's a lot that are happening right now in this space. And I'm very excited that we're discussing this trend. And I believe it's going to continue to grow. So, yeah.
Gee, thank you so much. Yeah, and you mentioned that the agents are not the replacers, they're the helpers. So I think that
Boosters.
especially in crypto, like there's a very steep learning curve, but I think, us, we have the platform. So when we teach people on how they can amplify for high performance,
Yes.
using AI and AI agents, that's how you can really unlock creativity and also that output, no, that we want to extract from our Filipino Web3 community with the help of, I guess, AI agents. So going to be
Yeah.
interesting also because I'll tie that in with our next question. But first, let's also hear from Army. So Army, ikaw naman, how do you see those those users and those applications also coming together, no, sa AI and crypto intersection?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I actually really, inspired with a lot of like applications right now in Web3 because, the AI component is added, not because of the hype, but rather we have a very, tradable, we kind of like focus on tokenization. So I think the way I see before AI agents is like you just simply make it and then you lose a lot of money. So as a founders, you kind of like use APIs to build it. And then at the end of the day, you find that I don't have any sustainability to continue it more. But right now in Web3, you can actually make it tokenized, right? So you can basically, as a founder, you can create an AI agent with a strong utility, strong use case, right? And then from there, you can actually allow it to like people, kind of like trade on that agent and then do
Mhm.
something for them. So I guess it's really both with a good use case, but rather also how the founders can now, sustain their company, their product, and so on. And I think the interesting part there, because I think, she mentioned about, the AI agents is, becoming more like a job creator for us. Because, a lot of people are now being, instead of them maybe just less of, doing any stuff, right? Become more interesting that jobs are now being added every single day. Like the yesterday you can just, create a new job for others and then like these agents can pay for it. Right. So we've seen a lot of like on-chain transactions and interaction between agents to talking to each other, like,
Mhm.
buying something and then the agent will buy it for you and then you send the money to this agent. So it's like more of another thing that we can see now. I guess that's the one thing I love that we're seeing in Web3 and AI. So
Yeah, so you mentioned job creator, no, Army. And I think it takes me back to, like, for example, when I was in college, I think the hype at the time was like drop shipping. So how are we seeing these new trends like AI and crypto becoming like, the catalyst for a new economy? And now that we have like Web3 that enables, of course, yung blockchain component. And as you mentioned, sending funds to your agents and they can do transactions for you. So that's going to be a
yeah,
very interesting development also when we see these agents interacting also. Um, yeah. So, Theo, I saw your comment. Feel free to, just hop in and share with the community also.
Yeah, just to interject with that, I was actually building the exact thing that relates to jobs. Actually, our narrative is AI won't replace your jobs, but actually help you find it. So Jobs is our AI agent, headhunter, and a decentralized career counselor. Uh, so it helps you look for jobs and it helps companies. to look for top tier talents. So yeah, it will be on the market. It will be launched probably next month. Yeah, actively building it. So
Awesome. Thanks so much, Phil. Yeah, and it ties in, yeah, with all of what we're talking about, which is how do we use AI and this tech to really look for that high caliber, high performance kind of quality from people. And with Jobsy, I guess you're curating the talent, and then these agents will also catalyze that talent to create this new economy. So interesting stuff. And I guess my next question for our panel, um, so since you guys are also, leaders at this emerging tech, how do we bring back the AI agent, tech to yung everyday apps ng mga Pinoy? So for our panelists, how would you like to see yung AI agents dun sa mga crypto apps used by everyday Filipinos? And I also told Feo earlier na you might not see it siguro if you're not familiar with a project that does it right now. Feel free to also pitch from your imagination, what would be an app that uses an AI agent that would be practical for Filipinos? So, siguro, baliktarin natin. So, Army, ikaw naman mauna. What is an app that you would like to see, no, that uses AI agents na makakatulong sa everyday life ng mga Pinoy natin?
Actually, in general, I mean, not just in Web3, there are a lot. I think hindi lang napapansin ng mga Filipinos that what they're interacting with is already an AI agent. For example, let's say yung na-mention ni Gina, Google Calendar, scheduling stuff for you, just saying it. That's already an AI agent. So I guess one thing I would say, those are the basic apps that we are using every day that we don't know that are already AI agents. Anything that you can actually interact with either in voice, on chat, or just really saying, for example, when you call Google, like on your phone, let's say, hey Google, hey Siri, do this for me. Same goes on how we interact with these AI agents. Like they just, we just ask them to do this and they're going to do that. And I think in terms of Web3, that is already happening. For example, if you want, a certain token to buy it, for example, you can just say it to in a voice or in chat, like I want to sell this specific amount of this coin, and then you somehow manage the AI to do that for you. It's more of basic apps. I guess it's so a lot to mention, but for me, I especially the basic apps that we use, I think that's really one of the thing that people might be familiar as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Chi, how about you? So maybe for high performance, so how can you, let's say, if you were to have an app also that would help yung mga Pinoy natin, kapwa Pinoy, achieve yung high performance, how would you also see siguro an AI agent play into that vision?
Yeah, sure. Well, Filipinos were known for number one OFWs, being OFW, very family oriented. We also are known for being freelancers, really good ones at that. And these are the practical things, no? These are the low hanging fruit that I can see where we could use AI agents to elevate the Filipinos, not just in crypto apps, because in the Philippines we have, let's be honest, we have really dire economic needs in the country, especially what's happening right now. There's a lot of politics going on. Not gonna name those, but basically that's ripe for innovation, especially in crypto and AI integration. Like a practical thing, number one, remittances. Like there's a lot of fees there, right? But if you use stablecoin, I'm not saying this is an AI agent, but an AI agent can definitely be connected somewhere in this workflow. For example, USDC, right? You could use USDC to send money to your loved ones in any country. Now, for AI agents, what if it's something regular that they need to send? You don't need something like a bank or a digital bank to do it for you. Maybe an AI agent could do it for you regularly so that you don't have to, or then maybe compute your financials, your profit and loss for your family, for your OFW salary. There's such a lot of um, use cases that I could think of. But basically, what I want to focus on here is mostly what do we need the most for Filipinos, and it's really in terms of economic needs. Right, so there's money transfers. There's also, of course, earning money, like for freelancers, instead of using, sorry to say the brands PayPal or Payoneer, all those fees I'm sure would add up. then why don't we use crypto and AI integration apps, right? And then there's just a lot. I don't know what else to name, but there's also payroll. Yeah, there's also payroll. Companies could definitely use an AI agent that would do their payroll for them. Imagine that. So there's a lot in the financial industry, as well as financial instruments for the unbanked. So I could think of a whole lot of things, but I'm gonna stop there.
Awesome. Yeah. And, you started off with OFWs and freelancers, and we're big fans of supporting those customer segments at Coins. So, lalo na siguro just to add to that, what if we have OFWs abroad who aren't so tech savvy and, meron silang AI agent that will help them with yung remittances, yung cross-border payments. That's a very big use case. And alam ko a lot of our, like I think GDP also comes from, the labor of our OFW. So it's gonna be interesting to see how do these like maybe local businesses or as you mentioned payroll also integrate AI and this kind of tech to facilitate yung remittances back to their family. So I like that angle that you have with family being at the center of the use case and the purpose of those apps for the Filipinos. So Chi, thank you so much. And Feo, your take naman. So how would you like to see more AI and of course AI agents be at maybe the forefront or yung nagagamit dito sa mga crypto apps for yung mga everyday Filipinos natin.
Yeah, actually, it's mostly this. I have almost the same answer with Chi and RV. For Filipinos, because I think it's the abstraction use case or feature or benefit of AI agents that would help us a lot. Because right now, Filipinos, most people are still choosing what's easiest to do, what's easiest to understand, uh, and what's instant, what feels instant. Like for example, di ba, most Filipinos like tap tap uh airdrops. They want staking, yung wala ka lang gagawin.
Yeah.
Ayun. And even mobile mining. Uh so instead of things like providing liquidity, which somehow requires you to be a power user in DeFi, um uh complex portfolio management, and more complex apps, especially in DeFi. Um Filipinos are not choosing those. They're choosing what's the easiest. Uh, and yeah, so it's more of the abstraction use case of the AI agents that would really impact how Filipinos use crypto apps every day. Maybe one example I just thought of earlier. Muna tayo lumayo. Coins.ph. Um, what if there's an AI agent dedicated to, let's say, uh, rebalancing your entire portfolio with the type of tokens that you want. Say, for example, gaming tokens, major altcoins, and whatnot. So think of like an AI agent rebalancing your portfolio while also doing two analysis, both fundamentals and technicals. So you're reading through news and markets, doing technical analysis, charting, and all. And then again, it rebalances your portfolio in such a way that it adjusts based on whatever's uh most profitable as it sees fit through its analysis. Um, yeah, I think that's one way of you know helping Filipinos to participate in Web3, using their daily crypto apps, using AI agents na makakatulong sa kanila in terms of
Mhm.
investment and managing their portfolio well. Um, we can even build it further. I mean, if they're using coins.ph as their daily, pang payments, we can save their changes, like yung papiso-piso, 5 pesos change, use it to rebalance the portfolio. There's a lot of use cases in one single app in coins.ph alone. So imagine all of these crypto apps utilizing AI agents that can actually help abstract the complex part of Web3 to the daily lives of Filipinos. So yeah, that's really bullish. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of benefits. Um, yeah.
Sige. Thanks so much, Feo. Yeah. And I think Chi also wants to add a little bit more to I guess the things that she wants to see, from these apps. So Chi, go ahead, share some more.
Yeah, I just wanted to add no, because in OG100X, we look for early stage projects, especially in the AI and crypto narratives. Kasi that's the hottest trends right now, and that's where the money is. And we actually found just an example. I'm not going to show it here, but one of the projects that we found was measuring KOL effectiveness through their signals, their calls, and then how much that token actually went up from when they called it on their socials. And that's very interesting because this one can actually help, for example, Filipinos use this platform and know which KOLs are actually effective in calls like this. And then they could join the wave, right? They could just jump on the train just when these KOLs signal these tokens. So that's just one of the ways that I could see how even DeFi can be innovated for Filipinos to use non. They don't need too much technical knowledge to operate AI agents or even crypto itself. And yeah, just wanted to add that because it's very interesting that there's just a lot of things that we could create with AI
Mhm.
agents.
Yeah. I guess just to summarize, I guess, what Faye said and what you mentioned also, Chi. So I also like that, if you're into DeFi, the rebalancing aspect of small balances, because those can add up and help you construct your portfolio. And if you're someone who maybe wants to have more social, like social fi, I guess it falls under that, and to see who are the callers or the KOLs who are giving quality information. AI agents can play a role for people who probably have more risk appetite to follow those calls, um, and hop on, let's say those kinds of tokens that are being, I guess, given as alpha calls. So lots of interesting insights here, and I'm sure Gio, so you can go on because there are so many ways that AI agents can really improve payments, and of course the workflows of yung mga Filipinos natin. So thank you for all of your input, and I guess for our next question, so I'll take another question from, for addressed to all of our panelists. So um this one is a good one since I guess we're all educators in one way or another here. So many people struggle to understand yung AI and blockchain, no? Because these are very steep learning curve topics. So you guys, what's the best way to educate mainstream users about the impact of those projects, and I guess not just about the impact, but how can we help them get started, no? So maybe for this one, Army, ikaw naman mauna. So I'd like to hear you. So in your experience, what's the best way to help these new users get started to learn more about AI and crypto?
Yeah, I actually with Web3, I really love that, the community is really more on open in terms of educating others as well. That's where more people, KOL, ambassadors or people in the community can actually do videos. I think I would love to see more like videos that are actually explaining in a very layman's term what is AI and blockchain. I feel like if I turn into, for example, I don't have any non-technical background or I'm technical, non-technical background, I would assume that these concepts that I would see when it's a AI agent, it's not very, technical in the aspect. And when we think about it, just basically estimating, how, these agents are working on. But I guess more into education side, like having videos, communication that are very laymanized. I guess more into more just having more interested. I guess for example, in minute we do want to speak or we do speak like English. I think sometimes okay. Yeah, I think sometimes that one.
Yep. Sige. So yeah, just to recap what Army mentioned, no? So videos are really helpful. And alam naman natin yung mga kapwa Pinoy natin, mahilig sa Reels, di ba? Kapag naka-break time, nagsuscroll lang dun sa Facebook nila. And I'm sure content like that would really help a lot with educating people, especially if they're looking for more educational kinds of content habang nagsuscroll lang sila. So Yeah, Army, I like that input, and someone who works in marketing also likes the idea of having, more educational content and videos about crypto and AI. So I guess for our second answer, Feo, ikaw naman. So, how do you, as I guess as a dev also, what's the best way for you to also educate mainstream users about AI and blockchain and the impact they can have, no?
Uh, you might not like my answer.
Go ahead.
Uh, kasi since we're talking about mainstream users, I believe they don't actually need to understand AI and blockchain. Eh. Uh, they just need an app to use that works, that's easy to use, and that gets the job done, basically. Dapat magugulat ka na lang sa success ka na pala. And then, or I mean, dapat magugulat na lang sila na, ay, ganito lang pala kadali. Gamitin yung ganito lang pala kadali mag-manage yung portfolio, for example, for my example earlier. Na, okay, ganito lang pala kadali gamitin. But actually, behind the scenes, it's super hard to build. So, it's the team that built the product uh, na parang or the team that built it actually like hack their way through making it super simple for the users. So yeah, I don't think it's the responsibility of the users or the mainstream users to know or even understand how these technologies work, but more of know how easy it is to use it, to participate, and and it's more of a responsibility of the builders or the team um, to build apps that's easy to use for the mainstream users. Um, yeah,
Also, I like your take, Faye, no? So, correct ka din na I think for the end users, they'll know it's a good product or good project pag invisible na sa kanila yung tech na yun. Like, I think the keyword is abstraction. So, just taking
yeah,
away all of the complexity. And if it's smooth and easy to use, then the product will speak for itself. And then if they're curious to learn, then that's when they can dive deeper, no? So, Faye, thanks for that, I guess, devil's advocate take, or that perspective as well. Ikaw naman, Chi. So, how do you see yourself, also educating more people? Do you agree with Theo's take, or what's your perspective also on, going about that teaching route for mga people who are newbies?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with what Theo said. We don't need to say, hey, this is Web3. They don't need to understand that. Like iPhone. Do we know how iPhones work? We don't. Did we think we need an iPhone? We did not. But now almost everyone, or at least 50%, are using iPhones, right? And enjoying it. App stores. We don't know how those work. Well, Army and Theo for sure knows, but but most people don't. So first thing really to educate is to um, think about what users are already using already. Like what are they used to? What are already in their workflow in their everyday life? For example, we love shopping. So there's Shopee, Lazada, right? We love music and movies. So that's Spotify, Netflix. All of those already have AI in them. We just don't see it. We just use it, enjoy it, and that's it, right? We have, of course, coins.ph. When I started in crypto in trading in 2017, I asked my friend, hey, how do I get started on this? He just said, go download coins.ph and buy Bitcoin using your pesos. That's it. So I went to 7-Eleven, I bought 1,000 pesos, and I used coins, and then that's it. So it was pretty easy for me because I already know how to buy. So right now we have e-wallets in the Philippines. So if we could just use those things we already use, number one, for projects, it's already filled with users. So that's a growth hack for them. And number two, the users themselves don't have to learn anything new, right? So they just use it, they just get a new shiny feature that they don't know they need. And then once they start using it, then it will just they'll be loyal to that feature if it helps their lives. And then another is a bite-sized learning. Like I see with KOLs or content creators, sometimes they teach you a lot of things in one whole video. Just teach one concept at a time, one key thing, and it will be easier for people because I mentioned high performance earlier, and in order for you to operate in that kind of elevated state, you really have to be not overwhelmed, not drowning in emotions, or thinking this is too difficult, I can't do this, right? We would think that way. Most people would think that way. That's why we don't overwhelm them. We just give them one concept at a time. And lastly is to just show and not tell. Like just show, don't tell. Let them experience things. For example, our guests for today, Rivals, we could just experience the thing, or coins.ph, we could just use it and see, okay, that's how I buy. Oh, this is like Gcash, stuff like that. Right. So those are the things I would do on educating them. This is actually my favorite question so far because this it has been what I've been doing in cryptocurrency Philippines and now in OG 100X. So I'm very happy that this was asked. So thank you for this space.
Awesome, yeah. Um, I'll check out OG 100X, pati ako na curious dun because, I'm sure a lot of people, want to achieve that high performance. So, interesting. And then I guess our last question for our set question, and maybe we can move on to some community questions. Um, so the question is, what are some key factors that makes an AI Web3 project successful? But maybe you can rephrase it to not just, AI, but also just what makes a Web3 project successful. So I guess for this round, siguro I'll do it. So maybe you can have Feo and then Armin and Chi. I'd like to have you cap off this question. So Feo, what is a key factor or are key factors that makes AI Web3 projects successful or just Web3 projects in general?
Uh, to be honest, I don't know. I mean, me personally, I'm not that successful yet in terms of building an AI Web3 project. I'm still uh figuring things out like everybody else. Kasi back then it was just Web3, but now we have AI and Web3. Like Web3 is already complex. Now we have to marry the two. That's too much to figure out. In just a few months. I'm I think I'm not one to say that this or that will actually make an AI Web3 project successful. Um, but uh, maybe one thing that I can say is that founders just need to focus or just they founders just needs to sorry founders just need to focus on shipping. Um, actually, another one. Founders need to stay true with their vision on how they want to contribute to the space with their AI and Web3 project. So yeah, two. Just continue shipping, stay true with your vision. Um, because no matter how much they change on their execution on how they ship, as long as it's within their original vision, as long as the vision is intact, um, and they want to help, uh, they want to help users, they want to help people in their own way with their AI Web3 project. Um, and they continue to ship. I don't see a reason why they will not succeed. Um, yeah, ayun eh. We're
Awesome.
still everyone's still figuring it out, so including me.
True.
So yeah,
So everyone just keeps building, keeps shipping.
yeah.
Army, how about you? Some key factors that makes projects successful.
I think I'm not really actually a founder, but I work with some projects I know that really are successful. But I think one thing I saw a lot is, listening to feedbacks of users actually. I think that's also one, listening to feedbacks of the users, because you can actually keep on iterating the stuff for your product if you keep on listening to the users as well. That's what I realized, in Web3, even in AI, community is very important, whether it's developers or not developers. They wanted to suggest something that makes it easy more, because I think we've been discussing about like how to make an app very easy for people. That's where you're gonna ask them, what do you guys look for? So I think that's also one factor that I see a lot for. And second one is make it public, build public. I saw a lot of like patterns for some of the successful projects that I worked before, that they really are transparent of what they're building on, whether it's still on the early phase. They keep on posting, "Hey guys, this is what we're working on. hey guys, this is another one that we're working on right now, and people are aware of what you're working on. So whether it's simple, just changing a UI, changing whether it's just a button or something. So I guess transparency is one important part for some of the successful projects. Second is, I think third is the team itself. I guess if you have a very strong team that really understood the vision, is what Teo mentioned, the vision, whether it's going to be pivoting a lot, because in Web3 there might be some changes. We're very fast in terms of what the market will do, what the market wants, and then we have to pivot, change, but the vision's still the same. So I think that's what I saw a lot with some of the projects that I see, especially with the one that are focused on AI agents. They're very focused on building publicly, having their strong team, and then they keep on listening to their community as well. And then they become more, and then they found out, like, since they're very close to the community, they hear those concerns, pain points. Now they're rising. That's what I can see from what I see in the Web3. So yeah, hopefully that's very clear to share as well. Yeah.
Yeah, just quickly before we move on to Chi, feedback is so important. And as Saya mentioned here in our chat, yeah, one-to-one interviews is really important. So community also, is a big part of that, and making sure that you're in touch with your users to really understand what do they want to see, because I'm sure they know those pain points from the user's perspective. No, so feedback is so important. Community is so important. And Chi, I guess to cap it off before we ask some community questions. So Chi, some key factors you think make these Web3 AI projects successful?
Yeah, I love this question because this is exactly what we're doing in OG100X Ventures. We look for early stage projects that have the potential to really go big. And we don't invest in hype. Like in OG100X, we are actually a community syndicate. So what we're doing is, instead of me just investing my money on one project, what we do is many people pull in their funds and we invest together. So that's very important. It's important that we do due diligence. So this is actually a due diligence question. And two things that are essential for projects, not just in Web3 and AI, are number one, execution is everything. And I had a startup mentor before, RIP, he's already in heaven. But what I learned from him is, he said there are only four things you need for a startup to be successful, or any project to be successful. One is speed. So they have to move really fast, faster than any competitor could catch up. Number two, they have to have the right market timing, or just timing. Because, for example, I started a carpool app before Grab and Uber. I actually did that. It failed because people are still hesitant. But when Grab and Uber actually ushered in that idea and it worked, then you can put the carpool thing in and it would become most likely successful. And then second is sales acumen. Sales is the lifeblood of any business. And if you're using your token to fundraise and get money, and that's it, and you don't have sales, then it's not going to last long. And then third is, of course, uh, ability to execute. As I mentioned, execution is everything. If, for example, you're creating an AI Web3 startup or project and you don't have that background, you don't know blockchain, you don't know AI, you're definitely not going to be able to execute, even if you hire the right people. So it's important for the team. And then second is product market fit. So aside from execution, of course, you need a product market fit. That is non-negotiable. If you don't have that and you have a token, you sold it, yeah, you earn money, fine. But if there's no market to buy the thing you actually created, then it's just going to dissipate and people just made money out of your token. Right. And then two other things that are AI Web3 specific are, number one, tokenomics. So we all know what that means. It's how the tokens work, how they're going to burn or reward people, the community, and stuff like that. If it doesn't power real value and it's only just circulating the token for fundraising or money making ways, then it's not going to last long as well, especially if it's used to raise capital, because that's going to get burned. I mean, in expenses. So if the token is not essential, it's only a fundraising tool, then that project is not going to last long, definitely. And then lastly, for AI, hopefully these projects to become successful, they need to use real time and on-chain data, because if they don't, they're going to have um, outdated information trained on the AI, and the AI will not be as useful, especially it will not be future proofed if it doesn't have real time blockchain data. So I said a lot of things, but I hope you are taking notes. So those are the things we look at: team, tokenomics,
Mhm.
ability to
Speed.
sell. Yeah, those things are the most important.
Also, thank you so much to everyone for their great insights. Let's take a few community questions for our last round robin. So, some fun questions for all of our panelists here, actually. So, I think, so Army, Fair, and Chi, it's been a while since, for Army and Chi, haven't been on the space for a while. And Fair, I think it's your first time. So, maybe it's introduce yourselves a bit more also. The community, this one comes from Airy Grey Rat. They asked, so what inspired you to work in the Web3 and AI space, Siguro, for especially for I guess Feo and Army. So siguro let's go with Army and then Feo and then Chi again. So Army, ano yung inspiration mo?
I guess there's a lot of like smart people in the community. I think that's also one. I feel humbled a lot with how people are really good at something, and then you find yourself learning from them. I guess that's also what inspires me a lot because I feel like in blockchain when I transitioned to it, I thought I knew a lot about AI, not until I saw how it's going to be applied on blockchain. There are many abstraction layers or many things that you have to learn, but I guess you have to keep your mind open with all those things. Until now, I'm still learning. Um, because every protocols, every chains have their own distinct features, tech products, and many more. So I guess you have to go into the community and really find yourself, I guess attending events is also one, but also working with them. I guess even in simple like having their app for beta testing, giving their feedback, and then you kind of like help them to know more informations. And even coins.ph, I know that I've been, even when I transitioned, I've been hearing a lot of like, this is the app here in the Philippines that we can use, and then so on in terms of like crypto and all. And that's where I see, wow, we have that here localized for Filipinos. And I think that's what I see. Lots of smart people, lots of people that are very open to discuss what they're doing. Because in Web2 before, everything is like very private, right? I
Mhm.
mean, you can share, but not all are something that you can share. But here in Web3, everything is very transparent. Like if you want to know about this, you can see it. Even if they don't post it, you can see it on whether in the screen and all. That's one. I guess that's one. I guess for builders' perspective, there's a lot of opportunities. I guess that's what I realize. Because even if you're new and then you're starting on, it doesn't mean that you have no space for the Web3. So I think that's one that really inspires me a lot in Web3 and AI space as well.
Army, thank you so much. I like what you said then that there are so many people here who are smarter than you and they'll humble you. I agree with that. Feo, ikaw din. So what inspired you to also work in the Web3 and AI space then?
Um, so in Web3, it's mostly the promise of medyo gas, it's decentralization, but actually it allows for people to participate. Like no matter what your standing in the society is, you can contribute, you can participate. Uh, like for example in DeFi, right? In or in traditional finance, you have to have thousands of pesos to even participate in an investment vehicle. And DeFi, it's not. You can actually invest. You can do anything with your crypto, with your money, even if you just have $1. I mean, it allows for people to participate. And as someone who grew up na wala naman masyadong assets personally, um, uh, I really loved that idea. And I really wanted to build something around that idea. Uh, you know, uh, for different kinds of things in the internet to be available for everyone, not just for those that are higher, has a higher level in the industry or in the society. Um, yeah, that's in Web3. AI, wala, total game changer. It complements Web3. Uh, yeah, yeah. That's why A and Web3. Um, Also, same with Army. I mean, it's a community of builders. Um, Especially in Solana when I got onboarded in 2023. Mag-post ka lang sa X, dami sasagot sa'yo eh. Especially ah, on X kasi I always want to ask in public, not to actually build in public, but to ask in public. And people in the space, even the lead devrels in different ecosystems, they usually answer me on X. And I find it like super fascinating. Like, hey, this is like, if you're thinking about it, it's like the lead community of Microsoft, something like that, that's answering me on my simple post about a technical problem. Um, that really fascinated me, and they actually helped me connect and network with more builders in their ecosystems. And I really love that kind of vibe where you're actually backed by builders building in the same ecosystem that you're building in. Um, and in Web 2, you won't see that. Well, you will see that in Stack Overflow in different forums, but it's different kind of connection. Eh. There's something deeper uh, in the community of Web3 builders. And yeah, I find that super fascinating. That's why I really dive in. Talaga. Uh, eh.
Awesome. Thank you, Fair. Yeah, DeFi really eliminates, that high barrier to entry. So inspiring to hear that, that's your inspiration to build for the space. And Chi, how about you? So what inspired you to work and build for the Web3? And I guess, the AI space also as part of it.
Yeah, I it was just a hobby for me way back 2013 to 2017. It was just playing around, exploring, because of how I like frontier technologies. Like I like emerging technology. That's what inspires me. But at the same time, it inspires me to see how these things could change the world. I know it sounds very Miss Universe, but that's really how I think. Like I've always been drawn to the decentralization part of Web3, the cypherpunk ideals of cryptography, privacy, and all those things, and the power of AI technology to, elevate human potential. Like that's huge for me because here you are with these technologies that could represent freedom. I know that sounds very ideal, but it's possible. Like that's why we're investing in teams that are building, like the builders who are reshaping the world and not just playing within the old society rules. You know what I mean? Like not just playing it with the money side of it, but basically on the real value that these two technologies can bring together. And basically, Web3 represents the freedom part, wherein there's trust, sovereignty, ownership of your assets. And then the AI is the great amplifier of human potential, human capability, removing all the friction, what slows us down, what allows us to focus being a human being. But put them together, the broken systems that we have in the old world, which I call the old world, but it's still the world right now. When you put them together, it actually creates something amazing. And we are able to give more power to the people and empower them to create better lives for themselves using AI tools and the Web3 infrastructure. Does that make sense? And for me, that's a game worth playing, and that's why I'm so inspired in working in this space. Yeah.
I love that. That's a game worth playing because, as you mentioned, the ideal is there and it's possible. So it's very optimistic and hope filled. And as you mentioned, crypto and Web3, is the freedom. So I like that component of it. And the emerging tech, it's really like this is a place to be if you really want to move the needle to build those things. So thank you, Chi. And Eri, thank you for your question. I have another question from Facebook Live. So this one, maybe we can take a few more questions now so that our community's questions can also be heard. So from Squidu Thought, so Squidu asks, what's the most frustrating challenge you've faced in the Web3 space? And how did you overcome it? Or how are you overcoming it if you're still facing it right now? So siguro let's have again Army and then Feo and then Chi. So Army, what's the most frustrating challenge you've faced sa Web3 space?
I guess security technical part. I guess that's also one of my until now. I'm still learning a lot. I guess you really have to try it yourself and really get to build something out of it or work on a project that actually uses that. um, I think for builders, that's going to be one. That's why I always, remind myself to always, be open. Because, for example, right now we have AI agents. Now you have to build, focus practice. And what if the next day it's going to be about robotics, but in blockchain? So it's another one that you're going to learn. So I guess you have to, um, I guess, be up to date of what is currently in the market so you can upskill yourself as a builder, so you're going to be ready to accept some of the projects that are really focused on it. And then if there's going to be another one, you have to continue learning about it and execute it. That's also one of the frustrating challenge, but I feel like it's a good challenge for me, because it makes me more, how do I say it, similar on how we see AI agents. We can easily tokenize ourselves
Mm.
on the market, because of that skill. So yeah.
Awesome. Army, thank you. And Feo, what's the most frustrating challenge that you've faced, as a builder in the Web3 space also?
Uh, as a builder, uh, I think it's how to not get distracted by the market, like what we have right now.
Mhm.
Because of course, as a builder, you also have the responsibility of being a user. Eh? So you have to use dApps, you have to buy crypto, you have to manage your portfolio. So as a builder, that's a problem as well. Like, how would you actually focus on building if the market is like this? Um, but actually, I really liked my what our founder in Hawkeye told us. Actually, just yesterday. Uh, sorry for I'll just change the word because it's a curse. What's a good word? He said if the market is uh how do I say it? The S word. If the market is
Yeah,
S,
that's fine.
um, if the market is S, um, then we ship. That's basically it. Or when the market is shit, sorry, when the market uh is as builders should ship. Basically, it's like that. So actually, uh, how did I overcome it? I just focused on what I need to build, basically. I just focused on the task at hand, how I would actually, or how would we actually survive the current, market situation, instead of focusing on the current market situation. Like, you know, instead of contemplating like and being sad about the market, uh, just focus on what you can do, what you can control during this market, and that's building. You can ship. Um, so yeah, I think I answered your question.
Yeah, 100%. And it's hard to like when the environment, the circumstances are like this, you can't be swayed. No, you really have to dig deep, heads down, and ship. No. So yeah, thank you for that. And Chi, how about you? What's the most frustrating challenge you've also faced in the Web3 space, and how have you overcome that challenge?
Yeah, just to piggyback on what Theo said, you really need mental resilience in this kind of high dopamine industry. Like you really need it. Emotional stability as well, mental health, all those things are very good. That's why I've been focusing more on high performance because of that. Because I've seen a lot of founders, investors, even traders go crazy, lose their money, lose their shit, because of not having that, right? But the most, so to answer the question though, as a founder, an operator in Web3, and also a high performance investor, my biggest frustration is the people. Like crypto. started as an innovation, an ecosystem of innovation. Now it's a gambling den and a scammer's playground. And it's very irritating and frustrating because I feel very protective of this space because I started very early. And I love the cypherpunk ideals, the decentralization, self sovereignty, long term value creation, even the automation that AI brings into the table when integrated into Web3. And now it's just pump and dumps, exploiting, exit liquidity for retailers or retail investors, and a culture of rewarding hype over real execution. Like it's just money making right now, and that's very sad and frustrating for me. And how I'm navigating this is I'm trying to control my narrative because I can't control the market, but I can control how I'm reacting to the market by focusing on the actual projects and teams and startups, dapps that are doing high performance execution and disciplined investing. So that's why it's the real reason we created, or I created OG 100X. It's because I've seen a lot of projects fail because of the things I mentioned earlier that they are not meeting. There are also KOLs that are shilling and not necessarily providing value to the projects. And I wanted to focus more on the quality. So the way I'm managing these frustrations is just focusing on what I can control. It's backing projects that are really doing something to move the space forward, to move humanity forward, and not bring us back to the old society that is very problematic right now. So really it's the people, our approach to it, and how we're using this technology. That's my greatest frustration.
Awesome. Chief, thank you so much. Very inspiring. I like the optimism that you bring. It's really important with mental resilience, is optimism. Maintaining that positive mindset, which as Feo mentioned, when the market is S, you gotta ship, you gotta keep going, especially if like all of us are in positions of being um good influences, good examples, helping our community members survive when the S hits the fan. It's really important to maintaining high performance and staying alive in this very volatile game. So Squidu, thank you for your question. And maybe one last question. I like this one last question also from our community member. And this would be a good cap off question for you guys. So Jimmy Mirabuna asks, so what's one lesson from traditional finance or tech that Web3 innovators should learn from? So I guess all of us are innovators here, we're at emerging tech. So maybe you guys, what's the one lesson or the key lesson, no, that you would I guess like to you know take from the old world that will bring in maybe to this new system that we're trying to build. So I guess we can do one last time. So Army, Feo, and then Chi. So Army, ano yung lesson na yun para sa'yo that from the old world we bring in to the new?
I guess before you go into something, you have to study it, research it. I think it's a very important one because I mean, in traditional finance, like okay, this one, all right, good to kasi it's a hype. It's hype from the rest of the people talking about it, but like as a smart trader or for example in the Web3, you have to really look at I think she mentioned all those things, right? And I think that's what I want to also highlight. Really be meticulous in terms of what you're going to say yes and what you're going to say no also. Either both are actually works as well. Yeah.
All right. Army, thank you. And then Feo, what's one lesson from the traditional, the legacy systems that Web3 innovators like you and us should learn from?
Uh, focus on the people. I mean, focus on the users. Uh, yun din naman talaga yun eh. I mean, TradFi works because it solves problems by the users, by the everyday users. Like for example, for coins, right? Um, and for other players in the TradFi industry here in the Philippines. Um, they work because they're not fascinated by the tech. They're fascinated by solving real problems of everyday users, of everyday people. Um, sometimes kasi in Web3, ang daming maxi eh. Like, I mean, they they don't realize that they're embracing the tech so much that they forget about the users. They sacrifice the UX. They sacrifice uh the value that it will give to the users. They're like, you know, uh they have it's like they have a solution and looking for a problem instead of the other way around. Um yeah, that's mostly the problem in Web3 with Web3 innovators. They forget about the users, which shouldn't be the case. Um, yeah.
Awesome. Never forget about your community. So Theo, thank you. And Chi, how about you? So we talked about leaving the old world, but what's one lesson you'd like to bring, from these legacy systems that innovators like you and all of us here should learn from?
Yeah, I agree with everything Army and Theo said. But if there's one key lesson in Web3 innovate or for Web3 innovators that we should take from the old world, I love calling it the old world.
Old world.
It's yeah, it's really understanding the difference of uh, dopamine-driven decisions. I'll explain later, and high performance execution. Web 2 or the old world are really good at high performance execution. I'll explain. So Web 3 is pretty much high dopamine. Dopamine is that neurotransmitter in our body. It's a chemical, okay? That it's that instant rush of hype, pumps, big wins, the gambling feeling. When you win, when you see something go up, yeah, that's dopamine talking, and that's not strategy. It's basically a drug. So we're being drugged. You know how people made their money in Web3? Most likely because you became the exit liquidity and they were the ones that bought early. So that's almost always the case. And it's because retail investors are always looking for the next high, the next dopamine high. And that's not what's happening in the old world. And this is the lesson I believe we should be taking with us, is because the old world knows how to take risks or understand risks, so risk management, be patient. So the patient gets the money in Web 3, and sustainability, which is what most projects lack. They just use their token to raise capital, and then they're not necessarily sustainable. You know what I mean? So the best founders don't build for dopamine, they should be building for endurance for their project. The best investors don't chase pumps, because if not, you're not necessarily an investor, you're a gambler.
Mm.
And the best innovators don't follow noise. So that's why we need the quiet. We need to be immovable minds, and just create lasting value. So value, money follows value. So if you create value, money will follow. And that's what Web 2 or the old world does really, really well. And that's why we don't invest in hype, because that's very short term. We're more on high performance teams that understand what true success really means, especially in the Web 3 world with more features. Old world is good, yeah, it's a little broken, but in Web 3, we have more things to play with, for more innovation, for more automation, for a lot of more new things, right? And that's beautiful. We're just not using it properly. So that's why at the end of the day, dopamine fades, but discipline actually wins. And this is what we can get from the old world, and that's who will define the next era of the Web 3 industry. So yeah, thank you.
Also, I love that. Very interesting perspective, because those neurotransmitters really drives emotions, drives FOMO, and that's a very big component to this crypto world that is being built, is emotionally driven decision making. But all of us here, I'm sure, because we have experience, we know that you have to um, keep yourself grounded and know yourself. I think is a very important thing to keep in mind when you're doing a very stressful environment such as crypto. So, Jimmy, thank you so much for your question for our panel. And let me just hide this banner real quick. And I guess just to cap off, so maybe a round of closing remarks just to cap off the AMA. So, unfortunately, Matthias from the Rivals team couldn't join us for tonight, but I'd like to thank our panelists. So, Army, Theo, and Chi, thank you so much for joining us for this evening. I loved all of your insights. Very stacked panel from very experienced builders. Army, maybe you can just give some closing remarks, and where can the community find you also on Twitter or on social media?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, you can follow me on X, just Armelina Bingor. And of course, at Taurus, we're also building a lot of like frameworks. So if you wanted to check it out our project, visit our website, taurus.pro. And of course, if I would love to see more projects around AI agents, and hopefully, if we can see more use cases that we haven't seen before, that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, so thank you so much actually for this opportunity, Jeff. For yeah, this is great. This is great to talk about, general AI agents, Web3, and how to manage yourself in the stressful environment in general as well. Yeah.
So, Army, thank you. And Freya, so one last closing message for our community, our community who's showed up. So, shout out to, we have 300 viewers tonight. So, thank you for all joining us.
Wow, thanks for listening to us. And if you actually want to learn about Web3 development, be it in, I don't know, EVM, Solana, or Weave even, just feel free to follow me and reach out to me. I'm Theo in Tech, Theo in Tech here. My handle for all social media. So I have X, Facebook, TikTok. I do content as well from time to time about Web3 development. Um, yeah, just reach out. Don't be shy. I don't bite. And I'll be happy to actually mentor you as well in the RB Philippines community, where we build fully on-chain apps, integrated fully on-chain AI agents and whatnot. Um, yeah, so I'll see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Freya. And Chi, so I'll plug everyone's socials as well in the comments. Where can the community find you after the stream?
Yeah, sure. Hi again. My name is Chi, and I'm a high performance coach and early stage investor, founder of OG100X Ventures. We focus on AI, Web3, and the future of decentralized technology. And we back early stage teams that are not all about the hype, but more on execution on or with precision, speed, and long term vision. And in Web3, really, it's all about uh, really all about focusing on how you could thrive and not just earning a quick buck. And being high performance means you are able to do just that with your mind and with your wealth. So with your money and with your mind. So that's what I'm focusing on. And where you can find me, you can have or you can check my social links at hi.chi.ph/based and our Telegram group for OG100X Circle. That's our bigger community. It's not the investor community because that's private. But the bigger community is OG100X Circle on Telegram. So that's t.me/OG100X Circle. So, yeah, don't be shy. You could DM me and I could help you be a high performance Web3 strategist here, especially in any market. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. And yes, for our viewers in the Discord, don't forget that if you do share your key takeaways from the AMA for tonight, you'll also be winning some Rivals tokens. So thank you for sponsoring the stream, Rivals. And if you are quoting any of our panelists for tonight, please do tag them. I'm sure they would love to see on social media the things that you learned from their time with us here on Coinmunity Wednesdays. So Chi, Feo, and Army, thank you so much for joining us once again for Community Wednesdays. It's been a great pleasure listening to all of your insights talaga. And I hope everyone learned something new. I always do. And it's been a pleasure. I'm JC Cadiz or Jaffa. I'm community manager for Coins. And it's been another episode of Community Wednesdays. So we'll catch you all again on Community Wednesdays next week. And have a great evening and keep the kits sa susunod. Salamat mga kaibigan.